What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with Gab and Maui. And today, we're going to talk about something familiar. We're talking about potential breakout candidates for season 87. And if that sounds familiar, that's because Gab over here did the exact same topic in YouTube Shorts. Yes, we do have some YouTube Shorts. Pero we had to redo that episode because that five
Alas.
list ni Gab was cursed. As if you guys know, if you've seen that video, as soon as we released that video a week later, Mason Amos leaves, Jonnel Policarpio leaves. Those two guys, spoiler alert, were in the list. So maraming nag-comment sa inyo actually. Sabi nyo, this list did not age well. Tama yan. So we have to redo it. So we're doing it again today. With Maui, of course, and myself. So Gab, can you explain again? Ano ba yung potential breakout players natin? But sorry, before you explain pala, can you share with everyone who our sponsor is for today?
So, this episode of Boleros is brought to you by Cotton Club Underwear and NYC Underwear. Cotton Club! I love it here. I know I said magsusuot ako ng Cotton Club Sando pero napalabang ko na. So,
Hindi pa
papalaban ko pa lang.
natutuyo.
Yung hindi pa natutuyo, hindi pa napapalaban. So, maybe in a future episode, I'll wear some of that Cotton Club. Spoiler alert! It's pretty comfortable. So get yourself some Cotton Club and some NYC underwear. Let's go!
Let's go. Okay. So Gab, please explain. Ano ba yung potential breakout players?
All right. For a player to be considered a breakout player, he has to have played previously in season 86, whether it is on the same school, the same team, or on a different team. Played previously in the UAAP. 86, season 85 went to residency, season 86 now going to another team. So a breakout player, potential breakout player, and you will have to explain, of course, why you think he's gonna break out. So that's a potential breakout player. Just no rookies allowed. Kahit na there are obviously rookies in good spots who are gonna produce immediately, like Christian Porter for Ateneo, but he's not part of this list. So breakout player has to have played previously in the UAAP. Okay. Sana hindi curse itong masasabihin natin pangalan.
Baka mamaya may mga pasabog na bago no?
Baka may mga maglipatan ulit.
Oo nga eh. Sige, let's get started. Gab, you had a few players on that list. Why don't you start with your potential breakout player? Since medyo may spoiler na kami.
Yeah, medyo may spoiler. But since my number one pick for that list is now in the PBA, just recently drafted.
Congrats. Congrats.
Sino nag-draft sa kanya? NLEX ba? NLEX? Tama ba?
He was picked high.
Number 6 yata si Jonnel.
Yeah.
Ayun. Picked high in the PBA draft. So my number 2 on that list, and he's gonna be now number 1, is Jake Figueroa of NU. Now you might argue, well, Jake Figueroa was already kind of a star last season. Yeah, Jake Figueroa I think averaged around 10 points a game as the secondary playmaker next to Kian Baclaan. However, for this season, I think he's gonna blossom into a legit star player, go-to guy for the NU Bulldogs because there's no Kian Baclaan is no longer there, and he's gonna get a ton of usage. If you watched NU both in Pinoy Liga and in Phil Oil during their big games when they're really trying to win, they give a ton of touches to Jake Figueroa, and I think he has the license now from Jeff Napa just to take as much shots as he wants. Because honestly, even if he takes a bad shot, he doesn't get pulled off the floor. He gets the same treatment now as what Kian Baclaan had with Jeff Napa in the past 2 seasons. Jeff Napa likes to pull guys when they make bad plays. He's that type of coach. Just ask Reynardo Mamoy, who might appear on this list. But yeah, that's Jeff Napa's style. But in the preseason, Jake Figueroa is immune to that. Even if he makes a mistake, takes a bad shot, Jeff Napa is willing to live with it. And I think you might see a scoring average rise to around 15 points to 17 points a game. He's gonna take a lot of shots. You go to the basket. Plus, he's still a menace of a defender. I've been saying this for
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
year a year already. Even in the middle of season 86, that Jake Figueroa is probably the best or one of the best defenders in the UAAP. He's just a beast. Can guard guards, can has the strength to guard players bigger than him as a function of him playing as a big man in high school. And he's athletic as well. He's a great help side defender. And you will see him rack up stats, no? And I think he can now play make as well. His game has now evolved. So as the number one option in NU, Jake Figueroa is my number one pick as a breakout player. And if NU hopes to challenge for a championship, become an A tier team. Lasal is in the A tier, UP is in the S tier. But if NU hopes to go from B to A, they have to get a big season out of Jake Figueroa. Mythical 5 level season out of Jake Figueroa, which I think he can do. I believe in the talent of Jake Figueroa. He's not much of a shooter, but he can go to the basket. He can shoot mid-range shots. He has a floater. And he can defend like crazy. So, Jake Figueroa is my pick. And don't be surprised talaga kung mag-mythical 5 si Jake Figueroa this season.
Mm. I like that. I like that pick. Two things lang to add to that. Love his motor. You said yung athleticism niya, diba? So I love his motor. Also, tama ka dun sa defense, no? More than the offensive end. What I really appreciate about Figueroa is like everything else. The effort on defense, the rebounding, the blocking. I think top din siya in steals if I'm not mistaken sa team niya.
Yes.
So that's what I love about Figueroa. It's not just, I think if you're playing for Jeff Napa, you can't just score. You have to do everything else also, and that's what he really brings to the team. That's why I love that pick. Maui, anything to add?
Well, very high expectations on Figueroa. If you remember, guys, last preseason, yan ang breakout player ko, di ba? I was calling it. He had
Oo nga, tama.
Tama.
Kasi he had a big game where he hit six three-pointers.
May 3-point shots, yeah.
So the huge improvement in the 3-point shot really really unlock yung game ni Jake Figueroa. With a ton of shots missing with the departure of Kian Baclaan, definitely he will get a ton of usage more than last year. I wouldn't be surprised, tama si Gab, if he averages around 15 to 17 points if NU is to really contend, not just to become an A-tier team, but to make the Final Four. I really have to see somebody consistently scoring more points kasi they just lost Kian Baclaan, di ba? He's the leading scorer, their top playmaker, so somebody has to have the ball in his hands. Yeah.
So, tama si Gab. NLEX, Jonnel Policarpio went to NLEX at number 6. Congrats to Jonnel Policarpio.
Congrats to you, Polly. Pero, yung list ko, pare. Polly.
Oo nga, hassle no? Sinira
number
yung list.
1 eh.
By the way, youngest draftee supposedly, si Policarpio sa draft pool na yun. Anyway, moving on.
Congrats to him.
He was the MVP
congrats.
of the combine. Diba? And he had his measurements were very good. It actually made me more confident that he could potentially be part of the Gilas pool. He measured at 6'5" without shoes. Close to 6'5", 6'4", high 6'4". So hopefully we see Jonnel Policarpio continue to improve. I think that's one of the main reasons why we wanted him to stay, diba? Having that effect with Kevin Kiambao. It's actually surprising to me that we're gonna see Kiambao back and Policarpio not back.
Oo nga, that's true. Ay, Maui, speaking of, sino naman ang pick mo for breakout player?
Yeah, I was juggling a lot yung picks ko. I also had a player from NU. I had 2 players for UP supposedly before the QMB signing. So si Alter sana or si Gani Stevens. But for breakout players, I'll have to go with somebody from Ateneo because we're playing off that Amos news, diba? We're playing off that breakout list that Gab made. Ateneo is gonna lose their top scorer. for next season. I think Amos was probably the second or third scorer from season 85. And he was expected to be the top scorer for season 86. If you watch yung preseason, they were really getting a lot of motions for Mason. But two players specifically really impressed me during the preseason. It has to be Sean Tuano or Andrew Bongo. Either of the two. But I expect Andrew Bongo to actually be the one to break out. This is a guy that I've really liked since season 84. He wasn't able to suit up in season 84. I'm not sure why. He finally suited up in season 85, but was very underwhelming. He had a huge stretch nung fail oil where he scored, I think, 15 to 18 points in 4 straight games. With Amos missing, he will have to play the...
Bongo was in season 85. Was it season 85? It was 86 siya nag-start.
86.
Oh,
yeah.
86
Sorry.
86.
Sorry, I'm getting confused na. Breakout play for season 87 na nga pala tayo. He was when I mentioned season 84, I was referring to season 85. That was the year Bongo was supposed to play for Ateneo.
Tama.
But he played season 86. Anyway, I think Bongo is primed to have a breakout season for season 87. If Ateneo is to win, and for them to contend sa Final Four, there has to be production sa wing slots, and Tuano and Bongo will have to contribute. I don't think Chris Kuhn will score a lot. That's been proven from the season 86 season, diba? He will do a ton of things. He will play make, he will rebound, he will defend. But you can't expect Chris Kuhn to score 20 points. And with all of the scoring left by Brown, Balungay, and Amos, there has to be people who are willing to take shots, and I'm willing to bet that Andrew Bongo will have a better season than last season. Definitely, he should average close to double figures and get a ton of rebounds and steals and blocks. Sam.
Yeah, I had those two guys shortlisted on my list also. Andrew Bongo and Sean Tuano, exactly. I think Bongo more just because Mason Amos left then, and he's a bigger guy, so Ateneo definitely needs more big bodies that they can play now that Mason Amos is gone. So he'll probably play a lot of 4. And we've seen him do really well sa preseason. I think nag-top scorer pa nga siya in 1 or maybe 2 games. So big improvements. Hopefully that translates in season 87. Kasi in season 86 he played sparingly, I would say, diba? As you mentioned, Maui. So I get that pick, especially now that Mason is gone from the team.
The key for both of these players for me is really, can they knock down threes at a respectable, not even consistent rate. They don't even have to hit it well. Just hit it enough. Diba? That's been my frustration with Drew Bongo in season 86. And even throughout some parts of the preseason, he gets a ton of open looks as a function of the driving kicks from Kuhn, from Espinosa, from the attention paid to Amos or to Porter. He gets a ton of open looks. It's just that they always seem to go to miss more often than not. Diba? Sam, ikaw mismo, nalala ko season 86. Sobrang frustrated ka pag si Bongo tumitira. That's either short, sobra, or airball. So, and he gets a ton of shots. So, and the same thing for Sean Tuano. He's gonna get a ton of open looks out of the way Ateneo plays. They just have to hit it. Ateneo will get a ton of good shots. If you watch Ateneo, despite all the losses in the preseason, they get a lot of good looks. They just have not been hitting them at all. So these two guys will play a lot. Now, if, as you guys said, wala na si Mason. So they will play even more at the power forward slot, and they will get a ton of shots talaga. I don't question their ability to go to the basket. I think both can finish. They've shown that. It's the 3-point shooting that I think has to come around for them for really a breakout season. And actually, it's very easy to pick anyone from Ateneo from the past for this upcoming season because that's how much they've lost. Maui, na-mention mo pa lang, Brown, Balungay, Amos. That is, what? How many points is that? Diba?
Actually, even Obasa. Kahit si Obasa, di ba?
Joe Obasa,
Yeah.
we even forgot about. It's easy to pick a breakout player from Ateneo because they've lost so much of their offense.
Top 4 scorers siguro. Last
4
year.
scorers. Totoo yun. Actually, I think sa Phil Oil, second to the last sila in points per game, Ateneo.
Yep, you don't have to look at the stats to know that they're one of the worst offensive teams. You can just watch him and you know that they're one of the worst offensive teams talaga.
I was trying
they're
to
just
put
so
it
bad.
nicely.
No, Sam.
Sige.
I will not put it nicely. They have been pretty bad on offense. And tama si Maui, these two guys will have to step up. There is honestly no one else besides si Kun and maybe si Jared Bahay who can provide the offense that Ateneo yung desperately needs. And they really have to rely on these two. They're as you said, Sam, malaki sila eh. They lack bigs. They're what, 6'3", 6'4" in height, maybe even 6'5", I don't know. But they will play the wing, they will play a power forward, they will even maybe play center at times. That's how shallow
I
the
wouldn't
front
be
line
surprised,
is.
yeah.
Diba?
Si
They
Bongo
will
will
play
probably play
multiple
center.
positions.
Yeah.
Diba? They will play multiple positions, they will play a lot of minutes. So it's a good pick, these two. Sam, your pick for breakout player.
I have an obvious pick also. I think you guys would agree. And Gab, you picked this guy already. So, and he's from the same team as your pick. So, you guys probably know who I'm talking about. So, I'm going to pick someone else para naman nasa ibang team. We've talked about him a couple of times in previous episodes. So, I'm going with the UE Red Warriors. I'm picking Jack Cruz Dumont as my potential breakout player for UE. Probably not going to be expected to score as much as, let's say, Jake Figueroa, but also a guy that Coach Jack Santiago relies on to do a lot of things. Especially, even last season, when si Remo Goat was still there. He was already bringing down the ball. He was playmaking, lalo na pag wala si Remo Goat. He was taking clutch shots. But I think now that Ray Remogat has left, obviously Precious Momoway will get his touches, will get his minute. Precious Momoway probably will not rest. He will play the entire game. But I think out of all the guys that Coach Jack Santiago can rely on, I think it's Jack Cruz Dumont. He's a vet na. Sa lagay na to, vet na siya ni Coach Jack, diba? Kasi all the other guys that we've seen in the preseason.
Rare kasi ang mga 2 years na nag-stay sa UE these days.
Oh, shots fired. Grabe, UE fans. Si Gab yun Si Gab. Don't
Madami
us,
na. Madami nang babalik ngayon, di ba? Marami na magbabalik. It's not like previous years, di ba? Si Momoway is coming back. Si Galang.
Momoway.
Lingo-lingo. Naiiba na ang kwento.
Oh,
They
so
are
slowly
rare
but
breeds.
surely. So I was looking at the other guys. Obviously, Momo is the obvious pick. Pero yun, na-mention mo, Maui, sina Galang, sina Welo Lingo-Lingo. But I think si Jack, maybe Lingo-Lingo is a better shooter, obviously. So he could score in bunches. Pero I think si Jack Cruz Dumont kasi is the guy that can do a lot more things. Not just like the 3-point shooting, but like playmaking, defense. He usually guards the best players on the team, if I remember correctly. He puts in the effort. He can score. Sabi ko nga, he hit like a clutch shot against, was it Adamson, I think.
Adamson, nung last game of the
diba?
season.
Yeah, last game
Where
of the
they
season.
supposedly won na, pero si Montebon
Yeah,
scored.
and then natalo, Montebon hit that shot. And speaking of that game, why I picked Jack Cruz Dumont, I just love yung confidence or attitude din niya. Like, just yung shot na yun where they supposedly won. He was trash talking the Adamson players, diba? I'm gonna send you guys home, something like that. So I just love that about Jack Cruz Dumont. So potential breakout player siya for me.
Parang Chris Kuhn ng Ateneo si Jack Cruz Dumont. I think
There
were a lot of comparisons. No? There were a lot of comparisons na Chris Kuhn daw ng UE si Jack Cruz Dumont. And I think yung versatility niya will be key. Actually, he was also part ng list ko si Jack Cruz Dumont. He won't be flashy, probably won't score 15 points. But he'll get a ton of rebounds, ton of assists. I think that's what's been expected. That's what we've seen during the preseason, diba? Just him really doing everything or doing whatever Coach Jack needs. There will be a time that there will be other Cruz Dumont in UE. Diba?
Oo nga, oo nga.
Two are already committed.
So one will be
I think-
playing.
Sort of cool.
From the article that said si Cole is coming to UE, it said that Hunter will be ready for season 87. So
87.
I think we'll see si Hunter Cruz Dumont. I have no idea how he plays yet. He's been injured for so long already. So
Sayang.
hopefully we
Sayang.
get to see him play. But actually, Sammy, it's great that you mentioned Jack Cruz Dumont from UE because he was my second pick. My first pick was actually gonna be Gerard Wilson for UE because he's proven from the past
Actually,
season that he
nalimutan
can
ko na si Gerard Wilson.
Oh,
Na-injure
diba?
kasi hindi natin nakita.
we have not
go
seen
ahead.
him in so long. And from that same article, I think from All Star Magazine, shout out to All Star Magazine, it also said that UE expects Gerard Wilson to be ready in time for season 87. And this is a guy who we've seen score in the UAAP level. Now he struggled in the first few outings of season 86, but he showed in the latter part of the first round before he got injured that he can actually be a secondary playmaker and can actually put up some buckets. So I know si Jack Cruz Dumont is probably gonna do a lot of playmaking, pero tama nga si Maui. I don't think he's gonna score a lot. Maybe he'll have a few games na he'll have big scoring games for 3 to 4 games. Let's say that. But he's not that type of player. He's not gonna score a lot. Gerard Wilson, I think, can score a lot. So maybe I'm more bullish on him to be that breakout star that UE has. UE always has one. They always have a breakout star every season, diba? Whether it was Kyle Paranada or now si Remogat.
Kung bago talaga players mo every year, Gab, you're bound to
Laging may
breakout players every year, di ba? I mean,
UE fan, si Maui yun. Si Maui yun.
no, but if there's a coach that can produce somebody who will surprise, di ba? I think that's proven na the past 2 or 3 seasons na. 3, I think, it's Coach Jack. Di ba? Even si Momo Wei was a huge surprise for everyone last year. And he's coming back stronger.
Yung thing ko lang about Jack Cruz Dumont, why I did not pick him and I picked Gerard Wilson, because we've seen Jack Cruz Dumont have a ton of opportunities during the preseason to be the lead playmaker. And hindi siya consistently. In Pinoy Liga, I think he had one good game. I think it was against MCU. Yun lang yung game na he scored 20 plus points. But the all other games, he doesn't really score a lot. That's not his game talaga. So, which is why I did not pick him as my breakout player. He was second to Gerard Wilson. Kaya mas bullish ako kay Gerard. I think mas kaya niya maging breakout star para sa UE because
scorer.
There's always one. Yeah, there's always one in UE. Moe can do everything.
Totoo naman. But that's a good point actually. Nakalimutan ko na talaga si Gerard Wilson because we haven't seen him. But yun nga, as you mentioned, he should be ready for season 87. So hopefully he'll be back in full health. Siguro let's do another round of picks or kung may honorable mention kayo. But before we go there, let's talk about our other sponsor for today's video.
This episode is also brought to you by Hype 24/7 Fitness. Feel the hype. And I was able to go to the gym last Saturdays. Sammy, you were with me there.
I was there.
Pretty nice place. Pretty nice
Ganda
place.
guys. Maganda yung place. I have to say in fairness naman. And
Ganda.
I think they're open 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, diba? So, very flexible. May parking ka na sa mall naman. So, check them out. We'll have something prepared soon with regards to hype. So, stay tuned for that. Okay. Sige, let's do another round of picks. Maybe ito yung mga honorable mentions. I mentioned my other pick originally, pick ko. So maybe I should start. So the other guy I was talking about, si Reinhard Humamoy. Gab, you talked about it in your video. I agree. obviously Reinhard Humamoy is a high school superstar. A lot we were
Love
expecting a
him.
lot from him
Love
nung
him.
rookie season niya. Yeah, Gab, actually high school pa lang, you were so hyped on this guy. I remember.
I
Him
I
and
I called
Pasaol.
him better than Jared Bahay, if you guys remember.
Oh, tama. Grabe yung hype
We'll
actually.
see.
I
So
remember
we'll
that.
see them match
Magkakaalaman
up
na.
this season. Nagkakaalaman na.
Exactly. Let's
Magkakaalaman na.
go.
Yeah. So I remember that. So guys, si Gab yun But anyway, but tama naman, I agree. Potential breakout. I think last season, you would say like overall, medyo disappointing given all the hype behind Reinhard Humamoy. But we saw flashes of yung star potential niya. Especially that game against Ateneo, yung crucial game ng Ateneo in the second round where he killed the Ateneo with, I think, like
Seven threes.
eight threes. Yeah, so he killed Ateneo's three-point shooting. As Gab mentioned, just like Jake Figueroa, now that Kian Baclan is gone, they need another go-to scorer. So Jake Figueroa could be that other guy, but at the guard position, I think it's Reinhard Humamoy. We know Steve Nash is a solid playmaker, but I don't expect Steve Nash to suddenly be a top scorer. Si Tebol Garcia naman is a rookie and also more of a playmaker. So I expect Reinhard Humamoy to take over the scoring load that Kian Baclaan left. Yeah, anything to add, Maui, I guess, kasi si Gab pinili na rin niya to eh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think very important that Rena Dumamoy has a big year. I think we've been saying that the whole off season. My biggest concern with Rena Dumamoy right now is consistency, di ba? Can he be that consistent 10 to 15 point scorer? Di ba? We've seen Rena Dumamoy have games where he hit 7, 8 3-pointers, and we've seen him play the following game and score 2 points or not even score. I think that NU doesn't have that luxury for this season. He has to be that lead guard. He has to basically play similar or at par to how Kian Baclaan played. If NU is to be able to get to that A tier, di ba? Kasi last year they struggled during the second round. That has been a recurring theme the past 2 or 3 seasons. For them to be consistent, for them to be able to get to that A tier and potentially get to the finals, they have to have Radar Dumamoy have a big season, and not just having big scoring games left and right. It's about being consistent every game. I think that's important. I would love to see Radar Dumamoy score 10 to 15 points every game, then see him score 20 and then 5 the next game. I think that's something that's very important for NU this season.
That's a good point. Sorry, masingit lang, Gab. That's a good point, Maui. And I think, Gab, yung sinabi mo kanina, si Jake Figueroa, he gets a lot of leeway from
I was gonna
Coach
get
Jeff
to that.
Napa.
You read my
Pero
mind, Sam. You get my
Ay,
mind.
sorry. Naunahan kita. Sorry, Gab. Pero
Go lang.
napansin mo si Humamoy, especially the guards, but especially Humamoy, he's on a short leash, no? When he makes a
Yes, he
mistake,
is.
inuupo siya ni Coach Jeff Napa, at least sa preseason. That's what I noticed. Anyway, Gabi, you wanna add to that?
Yeah, actually, tama si Maui, yung consistency is very key talaga for Reinhard Tumamoy. But part of it also is Coach Jeff Napa has to give him a longer leash. I've said this, I think, in previous episodes before talaga. Medyo hindi siya, let's just say he's not given the same amount of freedom that Kian Baclaan was given the past 2 seasons.
Makita mo sa
ganun si
mana
Coach
ng
Jeff.
tingin ni Coach eh, no? Pag
Like,
nagkamali
and
sila.
to be fair, Coach Jeff Napa has a reason too. Reinhard Tumamoy does make a lot of those flashy kamot ulo plays talaga. Mapapakamot talaga ng ulo ko minsan pang sa mga passes or sa mga decisions na ginagawa ni Reinhard sa floor. Because there are times he drives to the basket and then he doesn't have anyone to pass to. He doesn't know what he's gonna do once he gets to the basket. Ang dami niya ganoon eh. Meron siyang mga outlet passes na sobrang dikit, na sobrang nipis nung angle na it just gets stolen away or gets thrown out of bounds. So I get where Coach Jeff Nava is coming from naman. Why he has a short leash on Reinhard. And of course, it helps na he has a veteran guard, Steve Nash Enriquez, right on the bench just to replace him, diba? But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
good
for this
point.
season, if NU wants to climb up to contender status, same story tayo for NU parang the past 3 seasons eh. Yun yung question natin eh.
Hanggang hindi mo makita mag-finals, di ba totoo? Yun lang yun.
Oh, same.
Diba?
They've always been. We know the talent is there for NU, just that they have not played as if na kaya nila mag-champion with all that talent. And I think if Coach Jeff Napa wants to ascend to that contender status, he has to let Reinhard Tumamoy take his bumps, make mistakes, and he has to live with it because if you're a player tapos palagi kang hinuhugot pa nagkamali ka, matatakot ka magkamali. Diba? And you play tentative, you don't wanna you play stiff, you don't wanna take risks on the court. And I think that will affect a player's mentality when he goes to the court. He plays safe, he doesn't wanna do stuff that is probably more advantageous yung for the team. And I think Reinhard is very talented, and I think Coach Jeff, if I said it, if he wants to contend, he has to let Reinhard cook beside Jake Figueroa because it can't be a one-man show again for NU eh. In big games talaga the past 2 seasons, palaging one-man show eh. Kian Baklaan or bust yung offense nila. And for this season, it can't be Jake Figueroa or bust. It can't be the same story eh. So it has to be at least 2 or maybe 3 kung isama mo si Justin Garcia or maybe PJ Palacelo to help out
Your
on
boy.
offense. My boy, he can score. But you know, it's usually a one-man show pang big games eh. So don't know frustrated sa NU. Pero tama, I expect a big season from Reinhard Tumamoy.
Si Manansala also had a great
Yeah. Cholo
preseason.
Manansala.
Diba? He was part of my short list. I think he averaged 12 points nung Phil Oil. This is somebody, I think si Coach Olsen, nung tinanong siya before, nung season 86, sinong player in NU, he expects to really improve a lot. I think it's Manansala. So, this is a guy that probably with Dumamoy could take extra shots and really break out also. That's one of my probably honorable mentions. If you ask me, ang honorable mention ko talaga has to be Joric Bautista for FEU. Despite probably not starting, I think they've been experimenting sa preseason, him starting and him coming off the bench. It's yielded basically the same results. He's been very consistent in double figures. I think he'll get shots, di ba? Ang daming shots ng FEU.
No question.
Ang daming shots ng all of the Cyrus Torres shots from the second unit. I think that's the main problem of FEU right now. Yung second unit nila, we don't know what will happen, di ba? We didn't see some of their recruits, sila Jaden Jones nung Phil Oil. I think they have a few players coming in. But it looks like Joric Bautista could have a breakout season. Actually, from last season, nung paalis nung na-deplete yung FEU lineup, we expected Joric to have a season similar to Ray Mogat. But VJ Pre, and I have to say si VJ Pre and John Ray Pasaol have been better than advertised. Kaya maybe a bit underlooked si Joric Bautista. But he'll get shots. I mean, we talk about 3-point shots. We talk about making that outside shot. If FEU is to be able to get over the hump and finally get back to the Final Four, they have to hit outside shots. I think that's something that's been missing the past 3 seasons for them. Maybe since they lost RJ Abarrientos, diba? They haven't had that 3-point gunner talaga.
Yeah, I think I had Joric number 3 on my list, diba? Sana wag ka umalis, Joric, please.
Huwag ka umalis, please.
Wag ka magpa-lure to any of these other programs or maybe the NCAA or the PBA. Just stay in FEU just to keep my list at majority intact naman yung listahan ko. Yung 3 out of 5 nandiyan pa naman. But yeah, agree with Maui. In addition, he's Mr. Clutch for FEU. How many clutch shots has he hit in the preseason. I think I've counted 2 or 3. He hit
Oo
2 in
nga.
Pinoy Liga, I think.
May mga game winner siya na
Ah,
maganda.
2 in Pinoy Liga. He hit 1 in against Letran, if I'm not mistaken, during the third place game in Phil Oil. So, yeah, he has the trust of both the Denok Miranda and Coach Sean Chambers to get the ball and just launch it. he ang daming play that they run for Joric. They run a ton of plays for Joric. Even though he's not the primary ball handler anymore, and that's already si John Ray, Joric Bautista still gets a lot of plays run for him. Whether it's off-ball screens, whether it's dribble handoffs, ang dami pa rin. He's not the primary point guard anymore, but he's tasked to be the primary shooter and one of the primary scorers.
Better role for him.
Yeah, I think it's a better role talaga.
Skill set
Tama
niya.
I don't think he's suited to be that main ball handler guy like LJ Gonzalez, no. Hindi yun game niya. He doesn't have the upper body strength or the speed to get to the basket like an LJ or a John Ray. But as a guy you can run off screens, maybe run side pick and roll off. I think that's a perfect role for Joric, you know. So yeah, I agree. I love the pick of Joric Bautista. Sammy.
Let me just add this. Gab, I remember Joric Bautista was your under the radar pick last season or even 2 seasons ago. Yung end of season 85, sabi mo, under the radar, this guy could be good. And look at him now. We're picking him as a breakout player, a guy who could potentially be a superstar or is already a superstar for his team. So,
Buti na lang.
Grabe yung
Kasi
trajectory, di ba?
Yeah.
Oh.
Buti na lang kasi this is the player that they chose, I think, over the Mogat, di ba?
Oh, that's
When he was trying out earlier to you.
Remote cut because
Buti na lang, it's still
panned
paid
out.
dividends pa rin.
It
Panned out,
turned
yeah.
out well, diba? Okay, Gab, why don't you share your runner-up or second pick?
Well, you guys mentioned a lot of them already. And I wanted to pick someone from LaSalle. I just cannot, for the life of me, just pick a single player to be the Jonnel
UP din,
Policarpio
mahirap.
replacement. And same for UP. I know a ton of our UP subscribers.
Everyone could be a breakout player for LaSalle or
it's
UP.
the same lineup. It's the same lineup, and they just replaced.
It was supposed to be Alter, di ba? Alter or Gary Stevens, but they got QMB.
I know, and honestly, if they had not recruited Jacob Baila, I would have picked Chico Briones as one of the possible yung breakout players. They need shooting, and Chico Briones provides shooting, but masyadong crowded. It's too crowded in the rotation. I don't think anyone from UP is gonna break out like a breakout star already. LaSalle, same thing. But my pick comes from Adamson. Joshua Yero. Someone has to be the lead playmaker. Someone has to be the closer for Adamson. This was part of our burning questions for the Adamson Soaring Falcons. Who's gonna be their closer? Who's gonna be their go-to guy in the fourth quarter? Without a Joe M. Sabandal, there's still no word. You have not seen him play. I'm assuming as of now that Joe M is not playing for season 87. That might change. They might suddenly, trot him out there start of the season 87. Who knows? But for now, I think the best pick that they have to be the lead playmaker is Joshua Yero. Now, he's known as a shooter. He just doesn't shoot his free throws well, but he's known as a shooter. He can shoot from the outside. And we've seen him, especially in this latter half of season 86, become a secondary playmaker next to Joe M. Sabandal. He can drive to the basket. He can run pick and roll. And I think you'll see him have big games for Adamson. Now, is he gonna average 15 plus points per game? I don't think so. That's not the way Adamson plays, diba? Adamson plays a ton of guards, a ton of wings, very deep rotation. I don't think Joshua Yero is gonna be that type of guy. But as a guy who, along with Cedric Manzano, can average 10 to 12 points per game, I can see that happening for Joshua Yero. He's deceptively strong. if you've watched Josh Wayero play, malakas tong guy na to. He's a big-bodied guard. He can drive to the basket. He can post up other guards. That's one of the plays that coach Nastroselas run in the past. He likes to post up Josh Wayero. And I think you'll see that more in season 87. They'll go to him more. Plus, he has a ton of shooting around him, so he'll get a ton of space to operate. So give me a Josh Wayero for another guy, maybe a very very under the radar breakout player that you might see. Someone who we've criticized a lot on this podcast, Josh Lazaro from Ateneo. we've we've always given Josh Lazaro a hard time on this podcast. We don't like it when he misses a ton of gimmies inside, but as as thin of a front line that Ateneo has, they will have to rely on Josh Lazaro for a lot of things. He might average 10 rebounds a game for all we know. Just how thin they are up front. No, he's shown in the preseason, Sammy, and I think you'll like this. He has a willingness to take his mid-range shots now. Diba? In the past, we've criticized him for this. He gets a ton. He can hit that mid-range shot, but he just
can
doesn't
hit it.
look at the basket.
Tentative shot. Yeah.
Oh, he just doesn't want to look at the basket for most of the game. But in the preseason, we've seen him when he gets an open look from the mid-range, he was willing to take it. And if we can hit, and we know he can hit it, if he hit it consistently, maybe you can see a breakout player in Josh Lazaro. Well, this is now year 4, I think, for Josh Lazaro. He started in season 84, so it's year 4 already for him. At some point, the offense has to come around, Josh. Let's go. So, he's in the same mold of a Bongo or a Tawanyo that we mentioned earlier. He's long. He's one of the only guys who has height on this Ateneo team. He's going to get a ton of minutes. He's going to play a small ball 5, like what you guys said. So, put me down for a Josh Lazaro. He doesn't have the same offensive upside as the two you previously mentioned, Maui. Pero if he can just look at the basket and grab rebounds, I think he can have a breakout season. That's my other under the radar pick. Sammy, why don't you finish this off?
Yeah, good picks. Actually, I had Josh Lazaro as my under the radar pick, not my breakout player.
Talaga.
And that's teaser for the next episode. So we're going to do under the radar picks sa next episode. So stay tuned for that. But for now, comment down below what are your thoughts. Sinong breakout player nyo, potential breakout superstar for the coming season 87. Let us know. We love to read your comments. We love to comment to them. We love replying to them. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.